Okay, everybody. Now I would say we're back because we just recorded a whole podcast, and I didn't hit record on it.
That's funny.
You ready for round two?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Scott Show. This is my special guest, my mom, mi madre, Carla Phares. How you doing? Say hi to the folks.
Doing great. Hi, everybody.
All right, so we're just going to kind of just shoot the breeze here. So I kind of wanted to started off not talking about music, but talking about something kind of fun, is family pranks and joking with each other and scaring each other is kind of a big thing with us. I'd say it's more of it's a tradition. And do you remember the first time that I pranked you as a kid? I made you breakfast.
Yeah, I remember that.
What'd I do you remember? Well, I made you some toast.
Something hot on the toast.
Yep.
Hot pepper or something you put on my toast.
It was some black pepper disguised as cinnamon.
Yeah.
And she picked up on it and did not eat it. But I tried.
Yeah.
I tried. And some other traditions that we have. I mean, we would do scare each other. Me, Samuel,
oh, yeah.
Kayla,
It gets outside the window in the dark. And
scared her many times outside this window right here.
or the stuffed coyote you put on my porch on the bench when I got off work.
I totally forgot that guy. I don't even remember. I think my dad got it from somewhere, and then he was done messing with people with it, so he gave it to me, and I took it over to Mom's, and
yeah.
Oh man, that was too funny. And then another one of our big traditions is, as you guys probably know, since you're watching this, probably know me or whatever. We love to watch wrestling, professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And get together. We keep track of who wins each match, and we pick who wins each match, and at the end of the show, see who wins. Last show we watched, you guys came down to my house, was WWE Extreme Rules, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So what got you into wrestling, Mom?
Well, I don't know. You and Kayla started watching. I watched it when I was little with my Uncle Russell.
Right. I remember Russell
And then you
peeling
guys-
potatoes
Yeah.
and eating them.
Raw.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a salt shaker.
And then you and Kayla started watching it, and then I started watching it.
It's been fun. We used to go, and then now we got another wrestling show about to start up, AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be on Wednesday nights. Then, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about here in Whitehall, it's kind of a rural town, 3,000 people. And so if you kind of live on the outskirts of town, which like where I used to live right down the street from my mom. And with all the fields and stuff, occasionally you get a mouse or two, a mouse in the house. Oh. And my mom is terrified of mice. Actually, when you were pregnant with Kayla, I remember you being in the bathroom, and I rolled up a little sock and left a little tail of it and threw it in there.
Yeah, I remember that one too, yeah.
But you recently caught a mouse.
Yes, I did. I caught it. Well, he was dead on the trap.
Did you dispose him, or did somebody else?
Yeah, I finally got the nerve and picked the hoe trap and...
You did it?
Yeah, finally.
Oh, I thought you told me Kayla did it.
No, I did. I finally picked the trap up with the mouse in it and just tossed it in a grocery sack.
And he didn't get you.
No, he didn't get me. Scary looking thing.
She's just terrified of mice. Oh my goodness. And then, yeah, we came back to it. That was whenever we set the traps before we left for Indianapolis last weekend to go see Samuel. So we'll hop on the road here of talking about some music stuff real quick. What are some of your memories of me when I first started playing music? Do you remember any time frame of me getting interested into it and all that good stuff?
Probably when you was like 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
I bought you a little guitar.
Right.
I don't know what kind of, I don't know.
I'll show you the picture of it. Well, on the video, it'll pop up at this time, so you guys can see that right now.
Yeah, I bought him a guitar, and he liked playing it and trying to sing with it. And
I'm still trying to sing, trying to figure it out. Was you at any point were you ever like, man, will you just be quiet and stop singing? Because I was probably singing off key a whole lot, I'm sure.
No. I think me and my mom always knew you was going to be a singer and make it big one day. I'm still...
Yeah, we are working on it.
Yeah.
And speaking of making it big, My first big show when I was a kid was playing every Thursday night at the local nursing home here in town where my grandma Helen was at, your mom. And you used to help. Do you remember helping me load in all the equipment to your car and then driving me out and then bringing me back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I helped haul in the amplifiers and setting you up and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I still got people today, a couple girls still talk about when your grandma, my mom was there, that how excited she was that Scotty was going to play out there.
Heck yeah, I remember the first time I saw myself on the activity calendar they have there and during the month that I was coming to sing. I was like, this is the coolest thing, because I used to go out there on Saturdays and play bingo with my grandma and hope that she'd win, so I'd get a little Hostess cupcake or whatever it was that the prize was, and she always gave it to me. I remember her writing back in this time, the Ellen DeGeneres show, the equivalent to back then, was the Ricky Lake show, and I remember Grandma writing a letter trying to get to Ricky Lake, trying to get me onto her show to sing on TV.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then after that was kind of about the time whenever I was doing the shows at the housing outside and then playing over just right outside our wall there at the end, putting on concerts. You remember that?
Yeah. You guys would go out like the back door and set up like you's have a big old concert and
Heck yeah.
go around town selling tickets, I think for $1.50.
Got to hustle and make some money in this world. And then I remember another time during that, when I was a kid, going and playing at the bingo hall at the local housing area where they had like this extra room they used probably for business meetings and community events. And this guy from around my hometown, Derek Clyden, grew up together. He played keyboard, which we played along like with the CD, just looking like we knew what we were doing. And his grandma, which you said her name was Delilah?
Delilah.
Right, yes.
Lawson.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen her. And she got us hooked up with a gig to play at her bingo. They had a little bingo thing that they would put on, then they'd have a little snack break in the middle, and that was whenever we got to do our show for like 20 minutes or something. I was nervous as all get out. And then kind of fast forward on to that is whenever, I remember when you got me my first acoustic guitar. It's probably in 4th or 5th grade maybe. And you had it hidden under your bed, which I found and knew I was getting. So always got to try to find the hiding spots for the gifts when you're kids. So if you're a kid watching this, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you need to get on the bus and start looking for your Christmas gifts. And then that was kind of about the time I jumped through, did the Tone C boy band thing in 8th grade. And then after that was like kind of where Midwest Avenue, the first incarnation with me, my dad, and Uncle Jeff and cousin Josh got started. Then we did the shows out at the Great River Road Opry. Mm-hmm. The Great River Road Opry. I'm talking real fast here, folks, and not enunciating, as I'm known to do. And you remember going to those shows out there?
Yes, I remember going. Like I said, I can remember, I think Nikki Bug was probably 8. I don't know, you was probably 11 or 12. She'd sing a song, you'd sing a song.
Yeah, Nikki's super talented. It's kind of weird thinking back to that point to think, fast forward 5 years after that point that she'd be singing in a band that we're both in. Then she's super talented. Everett Bug is her dad, super talented guitar player. Hooked us up with those shows. He ran the Great River Road Opry, which they still have an Opry that's going on now. I haven't been to it, but I need to make it up to one of them, the Bug Family Opry in Hillview. Then after that was kind of whenever I was in high school and working on writing songs and just honing my craft. And then fast forward to that was about 2007. I started my first solo career, and I wound up getting 2 black kittens, and carried them around with me on the different shows and stuff. And then about the time it got wintertime, I realized I probably shouldn't be taking them around with me, so let Mom watch them for a couple days. It turned into more than a couple months.
Now, you asked me if I could watch him. I think you hauled him around the car and a cardboard box or a pet taxi.
Yep.
It's snowing out, and I said, well, I guess I'll take them in for you. Why?
Wilmer and Barkley. That was their names. And, and they're not with us anymore. One of them was probably still running around somewhere. He ran away.
Yeah, I don't even like cats, but one of them liked me and sat by me. And
see, animals aren't so bad.
yeah.
And then after that was the USO tour.
Oh, yeah.
So what'd you think about me when I got that gig and was about to head over there to Honduras and Bogota, Colombia?
Well, I thought, well, here's these opportunities. He's going on a USO tour, and he's going to be famous. Well, I was kind of scared. I didn't want you to go, and all the shots you had to get, and, it's a long ways over there.
Speaking of shots, if you don't ever have to get a rabies shot, don't do it, because it was on the CDC's recommendations of shots to get before you travel to these places. Since we're going to be in the middle of the jungle, the rabies shot is required, and it's a tough one to get. It hurts. It hurt me anyways.
Oh, and speaking of that, yeah, you talked about my mom trying to get you on the Ricky Lake show.
Mm-hmm.
When you went on the USO tour, I tried to get on my computer, but I don't know that much about computers, and I tried to get your sister to help me, and I was trying to put a thing into Ellen DeGeneres that my son was going on a USO tour, but I don't think we ever finished it to get it sent.
Well, that's all right. You get an E for effort. I tell you what, that is too funny.
Yeah.
Ellen, that would have been fun to do.
Yeah, I tried, and Kayla never did help me finish.
I probably could have made some time
I don't know
on my
if
schedule.
we got it sent or not. I don't think we did. I was trying to.
Then after that was kind of about the time when I took a little break from playing music, and then Midwest Avenue started back up. That was whenever Nikki joined in along with Megan Hediger and Beaver Hopper and a couple other guys, Steve Vincent, my dad. We was playing around. One thing about Nikki I remember is she was so seasoned already as a performer at such a young age that our first show we played was a packed out house here in our hometown, and I was nervous as all get out, but Nikki had nerves of steel and was just ready to take on the show and handle business like it was nobody's business. And then I'm just checking something here to make sure we're still good. Yes, we are. Because I'm getting nervous now because we got about 15, 20 minutes into this thing, and then I look down and I'm like, oh, I didn't hit record. So we were just talking.
Oh, I know. What about you went to the Texaco Showdown?
Oh, yeah. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
And won that, and then got to the state level and lost that. You were there for that, the state fair?
Yeah, the state fair, but there was, 10 bands that made
Yeah, there was 10 bands in the state of Illinois that made it. And we got second, or I think we got third with the voting. So, third best band there.
Yeah.
But that was a crushing loss because, I felt like you always feel like you come out and knock it out, and it's always a bummer to lose whenever you like winning so much. But learned a lot from that. I learned to not get so excited before I do a big show to where I'm overperforming to where it isn't natural, and I think that was one of the things that held me back. But I don't think it was the reason we lost. The people that won it, they were super talented. So, then after that, I'm going to say that was about the time Midwest Avenue, we released our first EP, Red Wine EP. And recorded that here in Whitehall. I did all the producing on it. That was my first time producing a full band record. And it was not perfect, but I learned a lot from producing that. Do you have a favorite song off that?
Let me think, because I get the albums confused. You Don't Belong to Me, is that one on there?
I Don't Belong to You, yes.
Okay, I like that one. Dreaming a Girl's not on there.
Nope, that's on the next one.
Yeah. And Red Wine, I like it.
Yeah. Heck yeah, that was probably my favorite song on the record. And what was funny about it is it was actually written as a fast song, not a slow song, and then it became a slow song through the recording process. Because we actually recorded it, I don't know, slower, and then we slowed it down even some more because it sounded so good. And then after that, we did, Midwest Avenue, we played hundreds of shows a year in that 3-4 year stretch. And then we called her quits, and that's when I became a solo artist and started using a stage name, which was your maiden name, Wyatt, and Grandma Helen's last name, that kind of helped get me into music, with turning me on to Elvis, along with my dad, playing drums all those years in bands. And so what'd you think whenever I did the name change? Did it surprise you at all? It was just a stage name. It wasn't a legal name change or anything.
No. I had a lot of people ask me, is Scott Wyatt your son or Scott Phares? Or he's got two names. Is it two different people?
It might be two different people. We don't know. We're still investigating this new group that came out with my old band name, Midwest Avenue, that released a song that I wrote called Night Roads, and they also released it. So I'm going to talk to them maybe on this podcast about copyright infringement. Now, I had a lot of people ask me, too. They were like, did you legally change the name or what? And I'm like, no, it's because my last name was too dang hard to pronounce. You have to spell it out for folks, don't you, still?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ferris, they think it starts with an F, which, it has the F sound.
Ferris wheel, they always think starts with an F.
Mm-hmm. And then after that was the solo project, and then released the Night Roads EP they recorded down in Nashville with Night Roads, Me in This Bottle, Dreaming the Girl, This Time, and Manny the Drinking Man. Now to those, what was your favorite song off that record?
I like Me in This Bottle and Dreaming the Girl.
Yeah, and speaking of Dreaming the Girl, Mom hollered out about a year ago at one of my shows to play Dreaming the Girl. And I hadn't played it in probably since I wrote it and recorded it. And it was just never a song that I played live. And I just hadn't played it in so many years that I barely could even remember the words. But I got through it. And so then kind of fast forward. Do you remember anything? Anything you want to throw in?
I don't know. I'm very proud of my son, and he's going to make a big one day, and I'm just waiting until I'm setting for the Grammy Awards.
There we go.
Grammy Awards, I'll be sitting there watching Scotty up on stage.
I think those are some reasonable goals that are very achievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's speaking of, setting goals, on our way back from Indianapolis last weekend, we stopped in at the recording studio to listen to the final mixes of my 5 new songs. What was that experience like for you? That was your first time ever in a recording studio?
I don't know. I was excited. It was interesting to hear Scott in the recording studio. And
might have been the first time my mom has ever called me Scott.
Yeah, Scott. I meant Scotty. Well, I call him Scotty, but then people's like, well, he's not a little kid. But well, I said Scott. I meant Scotty.
Well, people my family all calls me Scotty because my dad's name is Scott. So that's how you tell the two apart.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed your time there at the studio and watching Cameron, the producer, do all his stuff?
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't see how he does all that recording and how you record the songs. And yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it's, Cameron's fun to work with, and always has a lot of great ideas to bring the most out of each song. And so I'm excited to get the new record out, which people have asked me, with the new Midwest Avenue stuff, are you still doing your solo project? And yes, I am. I got a new record that's going to be coming out, doing them both full time. So we'll see what happens. There'll be 2 completely different bands, 2 completely different sounds, shows, and feels. So.
And that's your one new song.
Which new song?
The Cowboys.
Go Cowboys Say Goodbye. Yeah, that was Midwest
Goodbye.
Avenue.
Yeah, I like that song.
Yeah, Cowboys Say Goodbye. That was actually whenever Midwest Avenue, before we went on a hiatus or basically broke up the last time back in 2013. That was going to be the next song that we released. The Night Roads was going to be, but we broke up before we could record them. And I kept Cowboys Say Goodbye in the past and brought Night Roads over to my solo project, and then that's how that got on there. And other than that, I really kind of up to current date. You made some ham and beans. I already ate some.
Ham, beans, cornbread, fried potatoes.
What's my favorite food, do you think, Mom?
Oh,
Top
boy.
2.
Top 2 would be tuna patties and meatloaf.
Got that right. Makes the best meatloaf and the best tuna patties around. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're going to close things up here and maybe eat some food and do some visiting. So, Mom, thank you for being on. Were you nervous?
Yes, I was nervous.
It ain't too bad. And we'll have her back on here, folks. So we appreciate you guys checking out the show here, and we'll be back soon with another one. Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome. See ya.